Well, I've set this up now to show you kind of another little technique that I use, a colour mixing technique again. I showed you the very textural machine couching working upside down. Now I know that a lot of people have lots of these very shiny threads because we're all kind of magpies and we buy lots of shiny threads, and they can be quite tricky to use. They're also quite thin, so on a larger piece of work they don't cover the area very well. But this is my little tip and technique. I'm going to move these out the way. I've kind of selected colours that work with my composition again, and I think we'll use these two. They're quite different from one another, but what I'm hoping is when these two colours blend together, they'll give me something around this kind of zone.
Kind of salmon-y pink.
Yeah, and it can go on top of here and kind of tone this more towards that. Not exactly the same, but in that kind of realm. But what I'm going to do is use both of my thread holders here. And if you haven't got two thread posts, it's just caught around the edge. You can buy a thread stand, pop it at the back of the machine, and run two threads together. I'm going to hold them both together and run them through. Make sure the tension is up, so my knee is pushing to the right to lift the tension up. And this is when I could do without a camera looking at me while I thread.
Let's see how quickly you do this. I bet you do it pretty quickly.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. We'll persevere.
You were saying that silky, glittery threads are trickier to use. So what do you mean by that?
They slide off. Right. They get jumbled up. They like here, they're going to get caught around this in a minute.
So they're already trouble, aren't they?
they're just slippy.
Right.
They're slippy. And but they're very seductive, so we do love them. And what they also do is because they're shiny, they contrast with the matte qualities that I've already put on here. I've got a matte wool. I mean, look how shiny my nails are against the wool. They stand out all the better. This will also do the same. It creates a contrast. It catches the light. The wool absorbs the light. These do the opposite. So they're a nice highlight in a piece of work.
So all of these materials are working with each other?
They're bouncing off one another, part of the orchestra again. You know, there's different volumes and different harmonies that are created. Sometimes clashes, and visually they can be a really good thing. So kind of looking at this area here, I'm going to swing round a little bit. This machine is great because I have got loads. Hang on, let's just get going and snip those bits off. I've got loads of space in the throat of this machine to be able to swing round in any direction and kind of manoeuvre in any way I want. I could also have a much bigger hoop and do a bigger piece. Get slightly more restricted depending on how large you go. But this size hoop, it's 25 centimetres. I can swing it in any direction. So this throat space here is a real benefit. And I'm going to mix these colours together with one another. So the kind of variegated red and the pink are mixing with each other, and they're mixing with what's already on the cloth already, the kind of peachy colour, and the white loops that are there. So I've got 4 colours, 4 qualities mixing. And actually, what I also want to do with, going to push that down a little bit. What I want to do with shiny threads is to try and make my stitches a little bit longer than normal. So that means faster hands, okay? If the stitches are longer, the thread lies on the surface, it doesn't bend as often, so it looks shinier.
Right.
It's about getting the best out of that component of the orchestra. if I take a little section down here, you can see that better. So all the threads are going in the same direction, which gives them the best possible chance to catch the light. If I go the other way now, over here, I don't know how much we can actually pick up on camera. No, I know it's not exactly where it is on the picture, but the sheen and the colour mixing kind of will catch the light in different ways and give a different impression. Now I can use that in lots of different places across my composition.